Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back. This is the Widdowmaker Racing Series. We're at the GR4 Racing League and we're at the final round today of the Tsukuba circuit. I'll always say that wrong. It's the Tsukuba circuit. And here's the current standings after round 5. We've taken away the worst position from each racer, and BB leads the pack on 75 points. Widdowmaker 64, tied with Big Popper on 64. Really close race between those guys. The difference today could be qualifying. Big Marsh in P4, he's set to make a challenge here for the win. He could actually slip into the top 3 positions to take a trophy spot for the end of the season. JB, not too dissimilar, sat just 1 point below Big Marsh on 59 points. NW isn't racing today, but Deadly Backlight there on 50 points. Stands a chance of getting into those top 5 spaces and securing a spot. Roger isn't racing, as is here with us today. Winner is not with us. And Fat Man is racing as a guest racer. Here's the qualifying results. Not forgetting we will be using a reverse grid, so Widdowmaker topped out with a 56.759, with 2 other racers diving into the 56s, Big Marsh and BB. So 5 points to Widdowmaker, 4 to Big Marsh, 3 to BB. As slides in there just outside those top 3 places, just scraping a 57, very close to a 56. He gets 2 points. Big Popper on a 57.117 gives himself a point advantage there going into the final round, so that separates him and Widdowmaker by 4 points now. JB just outside with a 57.422. Deadly Backlight in 7th, which will take him to the front row of the grid on a 57.436. And Fat Man, our guest racer, in a new car today, the Citroen GR4, because he's not a regular racer in the series. He's had the opportunity to change cars. And with that, folks, here's the circuit, just another race running round. We're going to take you to the driver intros and then we'll get on with the race. So Widdowmaker gets pole, as said. He's equal second in the championship at this moment in time. He's got the opportunity to go on and take glory if he drives the race today. 56.759. Big Marsh, returning from a week off, he's actually had to have a bit of a break, but it doesn't disadvantage him. He's got all the chance of getting into those top spots. Qualified with a 56.841. BB, striking looking car. He currently leads the league today. Only has to make sure he's assured of a good finish with a 56.950 qualifying. As always, looking for a challenge, a fast racer. He's not finished every race as it stands, with some unfortunate trouble, but he bops in a 57.065, just outside the 56s. Big Popper, league secretary. Massive shout out to Big Popper for doing all the results and formulating everything after every race. There he is, a 57.117 with a new skin today. JB, talking of skins, here's the man that does all the skins for this channel. GTP Addictions. Looking like he's set for a good race today. Qualifying with a 57.422. And here's Deadly, probably the most improved driver of the series. He's also probably one of the most improved skinners. He came in with a 57.436. Which leads us to the man on pole. Fat Man, guest racing today, as said, in the Citroen. Let's see how this car challenges. Probably very, very good on the soft tyres. He qualified with a 57.498. So as we stay with Fat Man as he takes the first corner into the race, we're set here with a good weather day. Doesn't seem to be much on the cards in the way of rain. If you're used to the Human Comedy series, you'll always find it rains here, but we've got a good forecast as we just watch the guys settle in. Get a good view of the guys as they make their way around the first lap. Fat Man taking a bit of dirt on the inside of that corner as he comes into the final hairpin. Final tight hairpin. Looks like we've just had a change of position there as BB comes past Az. So BB sitting just outside the, well, everybody's in the points winning prizes, but he sits outside the top 5. Currently needing to reassure himself of the championship by sliding into the top 3 places, and that'll do it for him for the day. It's a long way to go yet. This is an hour race, and at just underneath an hour, with maybe 3 pit stops for the challengers, 2 pit stops if you can really push the tyres to go that far. You'll see yourself with 60 or 61 laps for the end of the race. So we're on to lap 2. Cameraman giving everybody a view of everybody on the circuit. Fastest lap currently 6 for Fat Man at the opening lap. But we're going to see who gets to put in the fastest lap of the race in these early points. We'll get to see who's on softs. As we can see, the leader's just starting to stretch it out. So Fat Man potentially looks like he's on softs, having put in a 1:02.096. Let's ride with him on car and just get a chance to see how he rolls around this circuit early on in the race. And there it is, fastest lap of the race so far, a 57.701. Probably slightly wide on entry to that corner, but it all depends on the car. Takes the left curbs, takes the right curbs as we go through the chicane, braking down to 2nd gear, hugging the hairpin, accelerating, probably just change back down to 2nd gear. No, he keeps it in 3rd as he rolls across the curb, takes the dirt on the left hand side, pushes the car harder, braking for the hairpin, coming around, clipping the apex, treat it as a single apex corner as he comes round, back on the gas nice and hard, running through the pit stop penalty line. It's not a pit stop penalty line, it's the penalty line. Pit stop is on the right hand side here. You'll see the guys take that line when they go to the pits, and he's purple sectored in the 2nd sector. As they come round to take the finish, he's using all the track. A 57.415 sees him the fastest lap of the race so far. Unusual car that, I've not seen much of that in the game. Don't actually know if it's something I own, to be honest, but let's keep on with the commentary as we flick back through the field just to see if there's been any other changes of place. JB in 3rd where he started. BB is up to 4th. Big Popper up to 5th. That means Az has lost another spot. We didn't see that overtake. But Big Popper pushing hard, looking like he's coming up to the back of BB. Big Marsh is actually hovering over the back of Az now, putting them under pressure, with Widdowmaker still there in 8th place at the back of the pack. So as we mentioned, it might be the fact that Az is running hard, just losing a little bit of pace over the guys in front of him. Pretty much assured that the guys at the back will be running hard tyres. We know that Porsche can be tricky on the hard tyres. As Big Marsh makes a slide into that first corner, Widdowmaker takes the advantage. Looks like there's a bit of door bumping and Big Marsh goes to the grass. They come through the chicane side by side. Widdowmaker just sneaks in but bumps into Big Marsh, who misses his braking point and stuffs Az into the barrier. Well, that's unfortunate. There's Az Big Marsh waiting on Az to rejoin the track as Big Marsh gets a 3-second penalty. Well, that'll penalise him and see Az retake that spot. Word from the pit wall that Az gave him the clear to pull away. But it was definitely a braking miss there by Big Marsh. Maybe just pumped off his line by Widdowmaker cutting through the S's. You know it can be very uncomfortable coming side by side somebody through there and probably hitting the braking point just as his tyres are on the grass. And there he is, giving that place up to Az now, which is only fair at this point in time. But that should see a fair big disadvantage to Big Marsh, having lost 2 places there really. It wouldn't have been very long before he'd overtaken Az, to be honest, the way it was going. But Widdowmaker the biggest gainer there, even though probably the aggressor. Something for him to take away and look at, one would suggest. So Fat Man leads the race on lap 6. Still holds that fastest lap as a 57.415. As you see him coming down the back straight, making it to the final corner. Deadly second, JB third, BB in fourth, Big Popper in fifth, Widdowmaker in sixth. They've pulled out quite a gap on the two guys at the back now. As slid back into 7th place, and Big Marsh just looking like he's probably taken the shine off those tyres with that slide into T1 and then the slide into the hairpin. Looks like he's done it again. Look, he's missing his braking marker. I know one thing I've learned from these days watching these races is that you can be too used to riding on the softs. Did you also see the twitch there as he came through that chicane? Probably one of the reasons how he had that incident. Just unsettled on the braking. As we flick back to Fat Man going on lap 7. Back in the field to Deadly. Fat Man really has started to build out a lead as we look at JB coming through the final corner. BB comes round to finish that lap, followed as Widdowmaker looks like he's following in the heels of Big Popper. There looks like the next opportunity as he closes the gap up. BB seems to be pulling away in front. So some of you might be asking where the inspiration is for Big Popper's change of skin. We know his current car, his current skin is the previous one, is his current real life skin. This is his old car skin. So this is in homage to his previously owned car. As Widdowmaker is now within maybe 1.5 car lengths of the back door. You can see it closing. Might be the foreshortening of the camera, but it looks like he's in a position to make that move. He's got the slipstream coming into the final corner. Turn 1 on lap 9 as Widdowmaker looks to make the dive, but Big Popper closes the hole. Doesn't leave any room at all for Widdowmaker. See if Widdowmaker can make it into the hairpin. He does, as Big Popper just leaves the door open. He's got his car up the inside. Oh, this could be a risky manoeuvre for Widdowmaker on the outside. He goes round the outside. Big Popper cuts the corner as much as possible. Widdowmaker gets him round the outside. And that's Widdowmaker up to 5th place as we come back to Az, who's just managing to frustrate Big Marsh now, who's suffering for that penalty. But Az just rolls the car off the track, 2 wheels onto the grass, and gives Big Marsh the opportunity to go ahead. So there's Az, looking like he's on for a stayer here. Needs to make a long session to get those places back. Flicking back to the front of the track, we've got Fat Man entering the final corner. Coming round on lap 9. Almost the first 10 minutes of the race gone. Deadly 2nd, JB 3rd, Big BB on 4th. It'll be Widdowmaker up to 5th, should be the next car we see. There he is, top of the track there, coming round, followed by Big Popper. Big Popper now in 6th place. Big Marsh in 7th, holding the position he started the race, and as the biggest loser of positions at this point of the race down in lap 8. So BB's made 2 places, Widdowmaker's made 2 places. Widdowmaker's actually made 3 places at this point. So Fat Man on lap 10. Looking like he was just about to say, but it looked like he was taking a line to take to the pits, and there he is, first pitter of the day, coming in on soft tyres. So that explains how he was able to pull out that gap at the start. Probably got in the region of 15 car lengths before he made the stop, and that hands the lead of the race over to Deadly. JB in 2nd, BB 3rd, Widdowmaker 4th, Big Popper up to 5th. As Fat Man comes in, you can see the wheel spin there as the car stops. As he goes on the jacks, no fuel taken, another set of softs and back out at it. He comes out ahead of 7th and 8th position, so that little sprint at the start gave him the opportunity to get free air, which is always a big gamble if you're going to run softs. You don't want to come out into traffic and get stuck behind somebody. Deadly backlight, looking like he's keeping ahead of JB with consummate ease. BB not entirely able to close that gap just yet, but those pack of 3 at the front are pulling away from 4th place as BB goes to the pit lane. So that will see BB come in on soft tyres. Another reason how he was able to make such a gain. Let's see if he takes fuel or whether he's just going to change tyres. Az goes into the pit lane also, but Az was on hards. As indicated, we thought he'd be losing positions because he was running hards. That'll be a short stint on hards to get rid of him. He'll be running the harder, he'll be running the soft and medium tyres now till the end of the race. So should be distinctly quicker. BB went out on a set of softs again by the looks of it. Let me just check my notes, just wait for a call from the pit stop. No, he went out on hards, did BB, as we look at Deadly now coming down the back straight. He goes to the pits, handing over the lead to JB. Deadly on softs going to the pit lane. Won't be long before we see him appear. Widdowmaker comes through. Big Popper in 3rd. Here comes Deadly. On the softs, what's he going to take? Do we know? Is he going to take fuel or is he just going to run straight out? Deadly takes fuel, he refills all the way. Take the fuel now rather than later is that inspiration. Fatman, having pitted first, is back up to 4th place with all the leaders taking to the pits. So it doesn't seem a bit of a gamble. Big Marsh is now up to 5th place, having been in 8th not so long ago. 2 people having pitted and dropped back down the field. There's quite a gap now back to 6th place. Deadly in 6th place, but Big Marsh charging up the back straight, chasing after Fatman. Fatman still holds that fastest lap of the race. 57.415. So Deadly comes out in 6th place. He'll be there in 7th. Az still in 8th, but yet he's had his 1 pit. So we expect to see him start charging. So JB at the front now. If JB's on the hard tyres, there's an opportunity here for him to start to stretch that lead, start to push out from the front of the pack. He's already got 3 to 4 seconds over the car behind him. No, it looks like he's going to the pit lane. He is. So JB is taking that pit lane. He's coming on mediums. JB isn't a fan particularly of the hard tyres, as we watch Widdowmaker come round to take the lead of the race. So Widdowmaker was, I believe, the only racer not to have made a pit stop yet, except for Big Marsh. Has Big Popper pitted? I'm just going to check my notes. Big Popper has not pitted at this time. So Big Marsh, Big Popper yet to pit. Big Popper in 2nd place now. He's got a good 8 seconds ahead of Fat Big Marsh. Big Popper and Widdowmaker probably separated by 3 seconds at this time. As we scale back through the field to see JB, who's just come back out in 5th place after his pit stop. Lap 15. It looks like we've got cars covering 3/4 of the length of the track. It's purely only because of the pit stop intervals. Wonder how long it'll be before we start to see the first lap cars of the day. As is probably the length of the start-finish straight now behind the car in 7th place BB, as Widdowmaker comes through to the final hairpin to close out lap 16. anticipate that Widdowmaker will be on the hard tyre, and he's going to look to stretch this as much as he can go. But no, Widdowmaker looks like he's taken to the pit lane. He is. So that's another racer gets to pole, gets to the first place and gives it all up. So that'll see Big Popper into the lead of the race. We have yet to see anybody be overtaken for pole at this point in time. So Widdowmaker falls away down the pack as second and third come through. Big Marsh, who's made his way up from 8th place not so long ago. And JB just pushing a little bit hard there, gives Big Marsh a nudge and then loses the back end. So this is the fight, and it really is a fight for second and third place at this time, with Fat Man pushing hard as well there on his second set of softs. Just keeping ahead of the person he qualified in front of, which was Deadly. So he isn't doing too badly as JB overruns that final corner, but I think that was more to avoid a braking Big Marsh. So just coming around to close out lap 17. JB looks like he's got the position in the draft to potentially make gains at the end of this start-finish straight as he looks to take the inside line nice and tight. Is JB going to make the move? He is. Big Marsh doesn't look like he's defending it. He's going to let him go. Maybe medium tyres over hard tyres there. I'm expecting Big Marsh to be on the hard tyre, which is a calculated move just to let the guy go. If you're on different strategies, maybe you've got time to take that back again. Big Marsh is one of the only guys, as we've said, not to have pitted yet. JB goes on to take second place and start rattling through. It's the second time he's been in second place, and he looks like he's heading to the front, but he is some 15-20 car lengths behind Big Popper, who is out there really making it pay at the front of the pack. Watch JB here, he's already done it. He's put in a 57.345 on that last lap. That's the fastest lap of the race. Good effort there by JB. And that's on his stock tyres, so he's already pitted once. He's on soft, so he's got to be going quickly. Big Marsh has a twitch as he comes out of that second hairpin. Flash on the headlights was a telltale with Big Marsh. Deadly looks like he's putting Big Marsh under pressure here again. This could be the tyre imbalance. This could be one set of tyres versus another. You can see how close that little fight is. As we're coming round now to the end of the 19th minute. On the 19th lap to start the 20th lap. Deadly looks like he's in a position to overtake Big Marsh, but is he? No, it's the foreshortening of the camera. And behind there you can see the battle with Widdowmaker and BB. Widdowmaker scatters grass all over the track as they go through the chicane. It's not really a chicane, it's just a kink, isn't it, really? But it just throws off your line. It gives you that opportunity to just get in there and maybe open a gap to get past somebody. Final hairpin. Widdowmaker with the late apex, pursued by BB. And they're all chasing down Big Marsh, who has yet to pit. Big Popper still sticking out there at the moment on lap 20, still in the lead. This Fat Man now running around his 7th place. He's just had word from the race marshals. Actually, Fat Man had an incident back on lap 18, which we've yet to see. We haven't seen anything from the camera reel, from the footage. Maybe we won't, but that explains why he's now dropped down behind as we flip back to the head of the race. There's Big Popper, and he's visibly, absolutely visibly lost that lead that he had. JB on the softs is really pushing hard now to try and catch. JB's put the fastest lap in, as we said, a 57.345. Big Popper just holding out at the front there. Has Big Popper pitted? No, he hasn't. He currently hasn't pitted. So JB on these softs is starting to make a move. These guys are full second straight away from the third and fourth places. Deadly and Big Marsh. Oh, JB looks like he just had a twitch there. Managed to keep on the power. But it looks like there's the opportunity coming up here for the overtake as the camera flicks away and flicks back to them. JB takes the wider line. Big Popper pulls over, lets him go. Is this a pit stop manoeuvre then by Big Popper? No, he's not. He just let the overtake happen. He just pulled out the way and let him go. So that was a clear sign of different tyres. Big Popper conceding the fact that he's on a different strategy to JB at this time. So that's JB, second time to the head of the race. Lap 23. Let's quick review of where we are. Deadly third, Big Marsh fourth. There's Widdowmaker in the background in fifth place. Reminiscent of a previous position in the race. Widdowmaker was chasing down Big Marsh. So flick back to BB and Az. Az is just recovering from that fifth lap incident. So come back to JB at the front. And JB's on his second stint. Using these soft tyres to the greatest effect to try and pull out a lead. And he has got maybe some 10, 11, 12 car lengths now over Big Popper. And he's not slowing down. Deadly in third. Looks to be putting in consistent consecutive laps. This is the reward for a season's hard work. Big Marsh in fourth, just managing to hold the gap. Again, still to pit. BB back in sixth place. See Az in seventh behind him. Az hasn't lost total touch with the field yet. He's still managing to keep his foot in. But Fat Man catching up from his little incident. So back to JB at the front, lap 25. JB pushing those softs. Just looks like he's running wide there. Flip back to Az and Fat Man trying to get round to the end of lap 24. So JB pushing on, really has started to pull out a lead now. Widdowmaker just rolling around in fifth, BB sixth. See Az and Fat Man. What we're seeing here is after the first round of pit stop, then with two cars not having pitted, we see the entire field almost within the length of the start finish straight. One length of track. So as the final car comes onto off that last corner, the last hairpin, the first car is going into the first hairpin. As Az goes to the pits there from 7th position, that's going to drop him right out. But that is, as we look down his list, that sees him completed his medium. He's done his hards and he's done his mediums. He's got softs to go. So he's free to use any tyre type he likes almost. Here's Az into his pit box. JB coming round on lap 26. Looks like he's taking the pit lane line. Yes, he is. So this will be JB's second stop. So we're into the second round of stops, and we've still got two drivers who have yet to make a single stop yet. Big Popper is one of those as he comes round to take the lead of the race again. This will be his second stint on the front. JB's ditching those softs, and he's going to have to take fuel this time on 19% if he's looking to do anything of anything much. The battle behind is actually hotting up between Big Marsh and Widdowmaker. We've seen this once already today. Widdowmaker still continues to shred the grass and put it all over the track. There you go, there's your first, second, third and fourth place as Widdowmaker makes the move up the inside of the hairpin. As Big Marsh, much cleaner than the last time, no door banging. Widdowmaker takes that spot. Not going to give up though, Big Marsh, not at all. As we say, Big Marsh yet to make a pit stop. Widdowmaker's already made one and gone past and overtaken. As Big Marsh is sliding again into that corner, he just can't keep the pace that Widdowmaker shows him. Let's see if he can hold it into this corner. Another view of first, second, third, fourth, all in the same shot. So Big Marsh lap 28, Big Marsh lap 28 and Big Popper yet to pit. Big Popper leading out the pack, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5th in the same shot now. Big Popper's taken that line. Has he given up the place? No, he's actually going to the pit lane. So that's deadly back to the front. That was 28 laps on a set of hards by Big Popper. And Big Marsh follows him in. So the two racers who hadn't pitted are now pitted once. That gives Deadly the lead on lap 29, followed by Widdowmaker. Fat Man also goes to the pits on lap 28. So Big Popper's in on hards on 4% of fuel. And look at the difference to Big Marsh. 16% difference as Az come round in 8th place. Az has actually had 2 pit stops now, I believe, from my notes. Yes, he has, and he's on his set of softs. So as we follow Az around here, he's leading out Big Marsh, who's just come back in from his pits. We're on board with Az, who's just done a 57.520. Almost there on pace for the fastest lap of the race. Let's see where he goes. Very smooth and deliberate approach as we see Big Marsh falling away behind. Big Marsh, by the way, went on to a set of mediums, so Az has just purple sectored the second sector. Looks like he's going to pop in by almost 2/10 if he can make it round. There it is, fastest lap of the race, a 57.143. So again, if he can capitalise on these softs, start to get himself back into the race, we will start to see Az climbing back up the leaderboard. Just depends how many laps he can get out of that set of softs. So back to the head of the race, and not to take the light away from the guy, but it's the Deadly backlight at the front, being pursued, and I will say pursued, by Widdowmaker, who is still on a bit of a mover. Let's look at where Widdowmaker is for a pit stop strategy. So he's pitted once on hards onto mediums. He's made a couple of overtakes, but he sat in second. Deadly backlight just looks calm and relaxed out there at the front, just running consecutive laps as Widdowmaker misses an early apex. Deadly running consecutive solid 58s. Just looking at his previous timing, I can only see 1:58.59 in a fleet of 58s. Pretty epic lap times. 58.9, 58.9, 58.6, 58.4s, 58.5 as Deadly goes to the right hand side. Is that a let go or is that a pit manoeuvre? That's a pit manoeuvre. So he's into the pits. And that gives Widdowmaker the lead of the race. That's the second time Widdowmaker's made it to the head of the pack now. So what we're seeing is overtaking moves made on the track being few and far between, but they are making the difference. BB now has come to the head of the pack. He's in second place, having not necessarily struggled through, but it's just the fact that he stopped the once on lap 10, gone onto a set of hards, and he's running that set of tyres for a fair whack of the way. So he's making his way to the front by attrition more than anything else. He's just staying out on the track, running those laps longer. So we've just seen Az, we've just seen JB, we've seen Big Marsh. We're now looking at Deadly again, who come out to the pits in 6th place. He's had to take fuel, of course. Big Popper, having pitted in from pole, he's taken a whole tank of fuel because he ran the car out. And Fat Man in 8th place. So Widdowmaker at the head of the field, lap 33. No real shiny stuff from Widdowmaker, just consecutive laps. Incident on lap 5 was overlooked by the race control team, and Widdowmaker was found to be aggressive. He's just popping in a blue sector, so could be a personal fastest lap of the race at this point. His personal fastest lap is in the 58s. He's not actually down in the 57s yet with anybody. The left hand side of the track should see him take that final corner. BB in second, so you can see the lead that Widdowmaker's got there. He's actually managed to pull out some 20-25 car lengths now on the second place. So that's the difference. Widdowmaker on the mediums, BB on the hard tyres, as Az goes to take JB. So Az coming back into the back. No, that manoeuvre was to take to the pit lane, so that's Az coming off his soft tyres. And where will that put him as we watch JB come through the line, followed by Big Marsh? Widdowmaker at the front. We're just in another round of pit stops, aren't we? Now what we are going to see for the first time is Widdowmaker with the sights of a back marker. That's Az running round in... No, that's not Az running round in 8th place. That's Az in the pits, taking to 50% of fuel. Widdowmaker's gone to the pits as well. So we are now thick into the second round of pit stops. Widdowmaker was actually on 0 fuel. Lap around 35, JB up to second, so that's BB in pole on first place. Widdowmaker comes out in what looks like 4th position. He's going to get the position over Deadly, is he? Yes, he is. He just managing to squeeze Deadly out of it now. So Deadly in 5th place. Dropped so far back purely because he stopped for fuel. So Widdowmaker looks like he's come back out on a set of hards again, it looks like. No, it's a set of mediums Widdowmaker's on now. No, clarification from pit lane, Widdowmaker's on a set of hards. So this should be a longer run by Widdowmaker for the next one. We don't expect to see him making inroads into traffic. But there's BB in first place. Let's just have a look at BB's pit stop strategy. He's only pitted the once so far. He's on a set of hards. We're on lap 36. And there's the opportunity for him to Well, he last pitted on lap 10, so these are 26 lap old hards. Oh heck. And he's got some, can we see, will we see in the background somewhere? There we go, that's how far ahead. He's ahead at the whole back straight of JB and Big Marsh, and that looks like there's a fight pursuing for second place. JB's making his way through the field on this set of hard tyres that he's on. Big Marsh is on a set of mediums, it looks like. It is. He's 5 or 6 laps now into his set of mediums. So that was quite a move there by JB to be able to resist the intentions of Big Marsh. But it looked like Big Marsh really has got the pressure down. It looks like there's an opportunity here, and maybe JB's going to have to give it up, because all you need is the mistake, and this is handing the opportunity back to Widdowmaker. With these two battling, it's really holding them up. It looks like the favour is being returned from earlier in the race, where JB cut down the inside just there on Big Marsh. JB looks like he's got the power to go around the outside. He has, and he's holding him. No, Big Marsh has just squeezed it through with the shorter line around that first corner apex. There we are, Big Marsh up to second place. So whilst we're not looking at the guy out front, BB does have the lead, and it's growing. It really is starting to push that car hard and long. We're on lap 38, that's 28 laps on that set of hard tyres. He's driving that insanely well. Or he's just managed to find the right tyres for the right situation. And he comes round to complete lap 38 onto lap 39. There's nobody anywhere near him. He's clear and pretty at the front. Big Marsh in second, JB third. Now feeling the pressure from Widdowmaker in fourth. Widdowmaker looks like he's got that line. He's going to make a similar move to what he did on Big Marsh. No, he's given up on that idea. Maybe he's going to take the apex. No, JB's blocked that attempt. Back to BB at the front. And here it is, back to this battle. We can't take our eyes off it. Let's just hope the team in charge of the cameras do the same thing. Is Widdowmaker going to get him up the inside? No. Yes, he manages to squeeze his nose up the inside. JB just had to give that up there. He's going backwards at the minute. He was in second place, now down to fourth. At 39, going on to 40 for BB. As we run back through the field, just see the guys coming round. Fatman in 7th, pursued by Az in 8th. So it's all staying fairly thick. So where the field had stretched out, we've now actually concertina back down. We're into the middle between pits, and actually everybody is pretty much on the same lap in the first half of the lap. It's a very consistent, very even field. Anybody at this point. We're now 40 minutes into the last 20 minutes of the race almost, as BB looks like he's on the pit line. Yes, he is. He's pitting for the second time of the race on lap 40. Coming off a set of hards, he only has to use the mediums to complete the size. Well, if he's going to run all the way to the end of the race, it's mediums for him naturally. As we watch Big Marsh, who has only stopped the once yet. Big Marsh has used hard and mediums, he's got softs to go, so that's going to be a close battle between Big Marsh and BB as Widdowmaker moves up to the second place. Yeah, we can see JB back in third, but this is a battle we've seen twice already today, Big Marsh and Widdowmaker. Widdowmaker having stopped twice, Big Marsh only the once. know is they've got to stop both one time each. We're looking at first and second place. They've both got to pit. I wonder what the difference is between the two of them. Could it be the choice of tyres come to the end? So Widdowmaker has yet to use softs. Big Marsh has yet to use softs. So they're both going to be on softs for their final stops. It's just who's going to do it and when. JB just managing to hang in there in third place, but it does look like he's falling back. Let's see what set of tyres JB has got left to use. He can choose any tyres he likes because he's used all three varieties so far by the looks. He's done medium softs and hards. He's on that hards now. So as we're coming round, he only needs to, you can use any tyres he likes. So if he can get whatever he likes out of these tyres and then change over to softs, he can finish quick. BB's now out of the pits. He has been a long time after he pitted, but he's in 7th place. Big Marsh has gone to the pits. We don't see it on camera, but he's gone in there. So he's going to go in. He's on 1% fuel, so he had to pit. He didn't have the opportunity to go any more laps. So he's by default got to take soft tyres at this point. Well, he doesn't have to, I suppose. He could actually go and pit again. But on the look of it, that's Widdowmaker now looking to extend his lead. Widdowmaker last pitted on lap 34. We're now on lap 43, so he's just done 9 laps on that set of hards. We wonder where he's going to go to. As we now pick up an hours up to 5th place. BB in 6th. Big Marsh has come out of the pits in 7th, so you pit from the front, you're going all the way down to the back, and here's Fat Man rolling round in 8th place, but it sounds like a long way back, but he's only 8 to 10 car lengths off the back marker, so everybody's still on the lead lap as we go on to lap 44. Widdowmaker with some, what I'd say, maybe 25 car lengths over the car behind, probably a 10-second lead at full pace. As I look over to the left hand side, we see Az still has the fastest lap of the race, 57.143. Not forgetting, folks, that this is the final round, so as we look at Deadly going round through the middle section of the track, the realisation is what we're looking at here is potentially what could make the final conundrum, the final twist in the tail of where we are with the league. BB currently sat down in 6th place. There's an opportunity here if Widdowmaker can hold it in first, that's a big enough gap with Widdowmaker's 5 points from qualifying to mean that Widdowmaker would take the lead of the championship and finish it in first place. Big Marsh there, if he can overtake BB and push him down 1 place, that gives Big Marsh the opportunity to get into the major wrangling of the field, because Big Marsh is currently set in 4th place. Just for Big Marsh to get a trophy, there's an opportunity there. As we approach the final 15 minutes of the race, everybody looking potentially to make one more pit stop except for Big Marsh and BB. They are the two to follow, so if Widdowmaker's got 1 pit to make, he's going to drop down to potentially 4th, 6th, 7th maybe. He does have such a tremendous lead at this point. It looks like it's all going to plan for him as he comes into T1. Back on the gas, and he runs off the track and spins it. Oh, he's lost control of the car there as the camera loses track of him. He's managed to get it righted, get it back on the track. Actually speared the barriers with his left-hand corner, but he's managed to get back on. But that lead that was the entire length of the straight is now just 3 to 4 seconds. That's a tremendous mistake by Widdowmaker. That's just changed the whole complexity of the race. The complexity has just increased. Now the pit stop, whereas he was potentially going to pit and come out in 4th or 5th. There's a potential here he could actually be coming out in 6th or 7th and puts himself right in the battle between BB and Big Marsh, which means that could have been Widdowmaker just throwing away the potential there. He's probably thrown away that whole first place opportunity as Deadly looks to make the move on JB. Are we going to see an overtake on JB again? No, maybe not. Lap 47. Oh, as Deadly just loses the back end as he comes off that curb. That's the 2nd, 3rd or 4th slip we've seen. Even Widdowmaker spinning it as he come off that corner. As we look down the pack, there's Az just holding off the advances of BB, but I don't think he's going to hold him back very long. BB looks to be on a right move with Big Marsh not too far off the back. Both of those guys now trying to get their tyres to go to the end of the race. There's your battle. So JB goes to the pits. That'll be his final pit stop on lap 47. Az has gone to the pits as well, so this is a potential last flurry of pit stops. This could sort out the race and find out where we are. So as we look at it, 4th and 5th, they are potential leaders of the race. Fat Man's gone to the pits also. JB is released from his pit stall back into the track, into 6th place. So here's your battle, your potential battle for 1st and 2nd place, considering looking at the guys ahead. They're the ones that have got a pit. These two guys are the ones running to the end. As Big Marsh makes the move on BB. BB pulled out on the apex, gave the track position to Big Marsh. It looks like bump drafting taking place as Big Popper goes to the pit. So there he is, Big Popper's in for his final stop. Big Popper's going to take softs by the look of it. This is only his 2nd stop of the race. That's 3 racers able to manage to get all the way to this position, only having made 2 stops. Widdowmaker's made 3 stops, so he's out of sync at this point. He's had to go tremendously much quicker than the rest of the field, the rest of those other 3 guys, to make that strategy work. But Widdowmaker is still sat out there in the lead, just holding back the emanations of Deadly backlight, who, credit where credit's due, knowing where he's been through this process, joining the league in the early stages, getting himself to a point where he's so frustrated with running laps and always appearing to the back. He's now in 2nd place in the final 10 minutes of the race. Admittedly, there's a pit stop involved, but he's pushing. Here's Widdowmaker now, lap 50. Leading out. He's managing to start to increase that gap over Deadly. Deadly in 2nd, Big Marsh in 3rd, BB in 4th, JB in 5th, Big Popper in 6th, Az in 7th and Fat Man in 8th. And as we can see, this race is just starting to get to the point where there's the potential for back markers to start to get lapped. Widdowmaker comes round to end lap 50, go on to lap 51 as we start to look down the pack, and you can see where the gap is. Widdowmaker's now got to be thinking about when he's going to make that final stop to drop onto softs. There's JB and Big Popper. That's going to be a battle to the end of the race. Those guys have now stopped. JB running that set of tyres a little bit longer than Big Popper. Actually, if we look at it, there's only a lap between the 2 of them. JB on the mediums, Big Popper on the softs. That's got to be a fight to the finish. Big Popper runs it wide, just avoiding the braking zone of JB as in 7th, Fat Man in 8th. As we go back to the front, lap 51, Widdowmaker looks like he's taken the pit lane line. Yes, he has. So that's Widdowmaker then made his final pit stop. And as we anticipate, it won't be long before we see Deadly make his final stop. He's got to still use one set of tyres. Widdowmaker on 0 fuel, so he pushed those tyres as far as he could go, those mediums. As he hits the pit lane, where's Big Marsh? There they are, there's Big Marsh and BB. They're the 2 leaders of the race, as we predicted. They were the ones going to be going round and taking up the mantle. Deadly Backlight is out there, lap 52 in first place. Widowmaker makes it out in front of JB and Big Popper. So Widowmaker on the soft tyres. As down in 7th place holds the fastest lap of the race, the 57.143. He's held that, and I'm just looking to my notes, since lap 29. Deadly Backlight leading out the race. Less than 10 minutes to go and he's sitting pretty, but according to our tyre team, he has to make one more stop. Now, we did make that mistake earlier in the season, and I don't believe we'll see him make that mistake again. But what's interesting there is the gap that Big Marsh has made over BB. As we watch Widdowmaker come round and we go in car, this tells us one thing: Widdowmaker's on a set of softs, and there's the opportunity for that one extra point for the fastest lap, which at the moment is going to Az. We can see the gap there to BB in 4th place. Will this first split be purple? Yes, it is, by 1/4 of a second, 0.261. So that looks like a potential 56. As Widdowmaker looks like he's visibly closing in on BB. He's really giving these soft tyres a hard time. And there you can see it. You can actually see 2nd place and 3rd place ahead as Deadly goes to the pits, handing Big Marsh the 1st place. Widdowmaker half a second up on the 2nd split. That's going to be somewhere like a 56.7. As Widdowmaker comes round, it's a 56.673. That is a phenomenal fastest lap at this stage of the race. But here's the thing: has he killed those soft tyres? Has he taken those soft tyres that need to do something in the region of 8 more laps? And there's the battle for 4th and 5th. You can see them right behind Widdowmaker, just 5 to 6 car lengths back as we look at Deadly, who comes out in 6th place from his 1st place. Fat Man in 8th, just rolling around. Again, everybody still on the lead lap. If that's anything to note, that is a phenomenal effort. 1 hour of racing, everybody within a minute of each other, everybody on the lead lap. And here's Big Marsh. The machinations of this have worked out. The Big Marsh had an incident on lap 5, punting another player into the gravel. He gave up that position, was penalised by the race stewards with a 3-second penalty, and some 45 minutes later he's pit stopped twice in front of a car that's pit stopped twice, and he is leading out this pack. Widdowmaker in 3rd place, who has pit stopped one more time than the 2 leaders, is closing in on BB in 2nd place. Big Marsh is still rolling those lap times, 57.5, 58.3, 58 deads. He's still putting in the necessary bit, and there you can see it, 1st, 2nd, 3rd in the 1st frame. 55 laps down, 55 minutes into the race. We get to see the 3 of them all in one shot there. From Widdowmaker you can see back to JB in 4th place. So Widdowmaker's got his sights on BB in 2nd. Widdowmaker's got to close that gap. There is now less than 5 minutes to close that down. We can see that Widdowmaker is now within 3 to 4 car lengths of the back of BB. He closes up, diving into that corner. Not taking away from the drive by Big Marsh. It's a phenomenal effort to get back to the front and hold that pace, and the battle here for 4th and 5th as Widdowmaker is now on the back of BB. There he is. He's just taken so much out of BB. He's just overrun him and able to overtake him on the straight. Is BB going to give it up, or is he going to fight him? Is Widdowmaker giving up? No, Widdowmaker dives down the inside. So I'd say Widdowmaker have made up some 4.5, maybe 5 seconds in that one lap. Big Marsh is Widdowmaker's next target then. There they are. You can see him on the same straight. Lap 57. Less than 4 minutes remaining in the race. Those tyres have got to be screaming now. But let's consider where Big Marsh is on his tyres. He last pitted onto these softs on lap 42. So currently on lap 57, those tyres are 15 laps old, whereas Widdowmakers are only 6. Yeah, the advantage has got to be with Widdowmaker at this point, other than the fact that he's still got to overtake Big Marsh. If Widdowmaker can start to chase him down, it would be phenomenal if he can get anywhere near. As we just scroll back down the field, that battle still ensuing for JB and Big Popper, and Deadly can see that battle taking place in front of him. Az has got the opportunity to chase down Deadly and overtake him, and where's Fat Man while all this happens? He's just coming around that final straight, so the entire field is still on that lead lap. There we are, back with Big Marsh. Could just stop talking for a minute, we'd actually be able to sit down and enjoy this race. At the minute my brain is flicking between backwards and forwards, between who's where, who's doing what is the gap from Widdowmaker to Big Marsh, and there it is. That's visibly the gap, and you can see how much he's pulled out on BB. So those soft tyres are performing beautifully for Widdowmaker right now. JB and Big Marsh in the fight. Lap 58. It's still on, that battle. It looks like Deadly's managing to hold an even gap over Az. I'm going to call them the tail enders, but they don't drive like it. They drive like competitors. Big Marsh at the front. Lap 59, less than 2 minutes remaining. He's actually got a lead of 4.2 seconds over Widdowmaker at this point. It looks like it's going to be enough. All he's got to do potentially now is 2 laps, and there's the visible gap. There it is as Widdowmaker's closing in. He's just hitting those corners, just lap after lap, and there's the battle for 4th and 5th as we see it ensuing. It is backwards and forwards between those two. BB looks like he's got it sewn up for the final position. He's already enough points ahead, and with the 3rd place finish and with his points from qualifying, it looks like BB's got what he needs. So here's Big Marsh coming around lap 59, lap 60. This should be the penultimate lap. There will be one more after this one if everything goes to plan. And I think if you're going to ask Widdowmaker to make the overtake as well, those tyres are now 9 laps old. That's going to be too much. As we watch Big Marsh come round to take the final hairpin on the penultimate lap. There's going to be one more. There's 30 seconds to the end of the race. Still the opportunity here for Widdowmaker to come round and take that opportunity, but will he be able to make the pass? That is the question. BB down there on the back straight, we can see them. He's got that 3rd place sewn up. There's no pressure on the back of him now. As Big Marsh comes round to take the final lap, Widdowmaker makes it across the line inside the final lap, but will BB? The time drops. BB has finished the race at that point. JB comes round in 4th. He'll be finishing. Oh, he's lost it. He's actually hit the barrier. Big Popper's going to come through the line. Big Popper takes 4th place. JB finishes in 5th. Oh, that's such a shame. Deadly comes round in 6th to take the final flag, and there's yellow flags waving there for the incident with JB. It looks like they're actually going to wave those yellow flags. Overtaking is prohibited, so no more overtakes. So as we flip back, Fat Man comes round to finish. Permanent yellow flags at that point. There's possibly oil down, so Widdowmaker comes round. He's within 4 or 5 car lengths. Have they cleared that incident at T1 at the final corner? No, the yellow flags are waving, so it doesn't matter what's happening. Widdowmaker will not be able to make this pass. He'll be penalised for it. So here comes your winner of today, Big Marsh, as he comes round, and that's the gap to second place. Well done, Big Marsh. Stunning victory from the back of the pack. Absolutely stunning. And there's your final wrapping up. So overall, with points included, Widdowmaker takes the result with 21 points. 1 point off the maximum. Big Marsh in second with 20. BB takes it for 16 points in third place. Big Popper in fourth for 15. JB in fifth with 12. As ties for fifth place on 12 points from 2 points from qualifying. Deadly on 11 and Fatman on 9. And that, folks, will bring us to the final standings for this 6-race league season. The overall results: first, second and third. In first place, we got BB driving the Hurricane GR4. Widdowmaker, first loser in second place. And then Big Marsh in third. Final standings there: BB on 91 points. Widdowmaker on 85. Not enough to overtake BB for the win. Big Marsh makes it up. He leapfrogs Big Popper and overtakes him by that 1 point to give him the third place. That's your top 3 tier. So honourable runner-up goes to Big Popper and the league secretary, 79 points. JB up to 5th. NW wasn't racing today. Deadly almost takes NW there with 52 points. Roger not racing today, as up to 40 points. Winner not racing today, and Fat Man the guest racer there on 20. Well, that, folks, wraps up an absolutely stunning season. That was the first league event for Widdowmaker Racing. And as we can see, trophies go to the first 3 people. They can be in the post as soon as they want to be. But here it is. Massive thanks to all the drivers for taking part and competing. And thank you, Steve, Big Popper, the man who decided to shout up and say he wanted to do the league points. Thank you very much. But what's next, folks? What are we going to do? Are we going to have another league? It's up to you. Let me know in the comments. Massive thanks to all our members. I say all our members, it's just the one. But we could do much more. Thank you very much, folks. All the best. We'll see you on the next one. Take care.